Hey guys, and welcome to episode 46 of How I Made My First $1 Million. Today we are looking at the numbers from July 1st, 2024. And today it's going to be a little bit different because of a comment on the previous video where someone asked me to go through my spreadsheet in more detail. So I'm going to do that. Today's going to be a little different. Let's dive in, and you can see the comment right here. Can you maybe share a template of the various Excel sheets you use? So I'm not going to share a template, but I will go through the spreadsheet on the back end so you can recreate it for yourself. Okay, so let's start with the balance sheet. July 1st, assets coming in at 78,000, almost 79,000. That's down 6,500 from last month. Liabilities, 23,800. Those have improved. They've gotten smaller by over 9,000. And why did that happen? Look at this. Taxes outstanding. There are no more taxes because I paid off all the taxes that I owe the U.S. government. And those were from the 2018 fiscal year, and we're in 2024 now. So I've had that liability sitting on my balance sheet for 6 years. So it feels really good to pay that off. And the only thing I have left is student loans. So this is a combination of public and private, but the only thing left is student loans. Feels good. Feels like when I was 22, 23, and my only debt was student loans. I believe I graduated with like 30,000 or something in student loans, so paid it off for a little bit, and here we are. So should be able to get this paid off in just a few months, just a few more months, and then I'll be debt free. Whoa. So those are liabilities. Let's go back and look at assets real quick. What happened here? Cash is down a little bit because I paid off taxes. Gold dropped a little. Bitcoin dropped a little. Kiva dropped a little, but pretty much negligible. Net worth, got a comment on net worth, 55,000. That's up 2,600 from last month. So it did go up. That's really satisfying. Let's look at the chart real quick, and then I'll show you how I get this pivot table to do this. So here is the chart. We got another data point, went from 52.4 to 55.1. So it's slightly uphill, but the most exciting part is the decline in the red bar or the red column. Those liabilities chipping away, getting closer to zero. Very exciting, very exciting. Okay, so let's bring in my face here. What are we gonna do? So the balance sheet, in order to get a pivot table like this, by the way, it is called a pivot table, analyze, there's all these things here. If you wanna learn about pivot tables, you can go to YouTube or Google and type in pivot table tutorial. Pivot table is spelled up here. But I'll show you the basics. Basically, in order to get the data in such a way where you can move it around like this, you have to have it stored on a separate spreadsheet in a certain way. So mine looks like this. I have a table here. It's pretty simple. And by the way, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Excel, but normally you have the letters at the top of each column, A, B, C, D, and so on. And sometimes if you're scrolling through a bunch of data, you might not be able to see the column headings, right? You just get the letters of the column. But if you click inside here, you see how you get the titles here. So index, date, asset or liability, asset group, and so on, right? When I click out, they disappear. When I click in, they appear. That's because all of this data is formatted as a table. So if you want to do that, if you have a bunch of data, simply highlight the entire thing and then go to format as table, and then choose whichever one you want. Doesn't matter. You can even create your own style. And once you do that, first of all, you get a lot of advantages, but one of them is being able to see the titles across the top. I know the column headings, I know people really like that. So that's one way to do it. Another advantage is that you can put all this into a pivot table. So here's how I have it stored. So every month, I basically add this amount of data. So you can see here that under date, I have July 1st. So that's basically, I flag everything with July 1st because this is for the July 1st video, and I have them flagged as assets, the ones that are assets, and liabilities, the ones that are liabilities, and then each line item, and then I'm not really using these categories at all, and then the actual dollar value. So it's very simple. So next month, I'll basically take all this, and I'll copy it and paste it below, and then I'll write 8-1, and then I'll paste that down and update all the numbers, and I'll take these here and just continue that down. And that's basically what I would do. Pretty simple. And then when I go to the balance sheet, I can, my computer's going slow. When I go to the balance sheet, I can go to pivot table analyze and refresh it. And I should be able to, at the bottom here, yeah, I have an option for August now. So if I get rid of June, I can add in August, and then it would look like this. Now I just have the exact same numbers from last month, and then these all become zeros, but that's basically what I would do. And so you can recreate a balance sheet like that, including the chart, pretty simply. And there's not an extra data point here because the chart actually is built off of a different table, which I will show you up here. I just create a new line, and I type in the assets and liabilities and net worth just as a single line afterwards. So very simple. The chart's built off of this. All right, let's keep moving. Income statement. What happened here? What did happen here? All right, 9,200. So yeah, the only income was from wages and salary, no investment income or anything like that. Pretty straightforward. This last month was particularly high because I was reimbursed for some expenses. This was more normal. Not much to say about that. Expenses, massive expenses. What happened? Oh, a lot of things the same. Spending way more on food and beverage because I'm up in New York. As you can probably tell by the background, I forgot to mention that. So I did make myself a little studio. I hope you like it. Food and beverage is up a lot. You know, living in someone else's house and not having full control over the refrigerator. We do eat out significantly more. So that's just comes with the territory. Body and wellness went down a lot. I didn't have contact lenses or dental appointments or massages, so that was down a lot. Travel and adventure, bought some hotels and plane tickets for some upcoming adventures. Taxes, well, this was the big thing, right? So I mentioned I paid off, I thought it was 7,200. Was it 6,200? Oh, well, it's not here, but it was 9,200. Okay, that's why. It said 9,200, but it's not actually that amount. I think it was, well, it's right here. Whatever the real amount is here. This was the real amount. Because I don't update that value every single month. So it actually was lower than I had documented. So anyways, that's that. And then rather than paying off like a debt as this category, I flagged it as taxes. Okay, so that's why expenses went up a bunch and net income significantly lower, but lowering those liabilities. Okay, so how do I do it? Well, basically in order to get a pivot table like this, I store the data in a very similar way, but I have all these different categories. So, and I can drill down here. So for example, under rent and utilities, rent is a separate item from utilities, and under utilities, there's all these different things. So certain softwares that I pay for, I think of as utilities, electric, internet, phone, water and sewer, etc. So in order to get this in this really convenient drop down, I have to store the data in that way. So let me show you what it looks like. That is on the transactions tab, which I just realized is misspelled. That's really funny. I can't believe I never noticed that. It's been how many years? Transactions, yeah, missing an A. Anyways, so I store all of the information in a table that looks like this. And again, you can't see the column headings at the top because my cursor's not there, but once I go in, you can see it all. So I have everything indexed. I have 1,410 transactions in this table. It goes all the way to the top. The most recent month, of course, is 7/1. So that's, the last, I think, like 88 transactions maybe I had. And then going back up here is June and so forth. Then there's the actual date that it happened. This is according to my bank statement when I download things. The actual merchant, the amount, whether it goes in or out, then the net amount. It's just helpful to have a separate column here. The running balance in my checking account, whether or not it's tax deductible, so that at the end of the year I can just go back and filter everything that's tax deductible, and then I just have all my write-offs very easily. And then I have everything flagged as either a revenue or an expense. So on the income statement, we have revenues and expenses, okay, as like the main categories. And then the next category is, is it E for expense or R for revenue. And is it food and beverage? Is it wages and salary? Is it whatever, whatever, whatever? And that's after revenues, wages and salary, after expenses, it's all these other things, these second level categories, and so on. So then after that is, the income category below that, and then the subcategory, and then there's a level of detail, which is optional. And then after that are 3 columns for the statement of cash flows. So all these other ones are for the income statement, and then the final 3 are for statement of cash flows. And if you want to know what they look like, it's here. So let me back it up a minute. So when I'm actually typing these in, I can go, here and choose from a drop down. Okay, this line item is, what is it? And I choose it. And in order to get this handy little drop down, it's pretty simple. You can actually just pick a cell and go to data, data validation, choose data validation, and then the default for any cell in Excel is any value, but you can change it. Like, you don't want to allow any value to be typed into the cell. You want a list. A list is the thing that gives you that drop-down menu in the cell. And the source for the list is over on my labels tab. Let's say it's all of these. I can put any of these here. Okay, then I just hit enter, and I'll have a list that comes from there. And then when I hit OK on this tab, I get all those options. So if I ever want my list to grow, I just go back over to my labels tab, and I say, you know what, I need a new category here. I might move it down a little, and then I'll put another category wherever I want it, stuff. And then in my list over here, it should update if I put it in the right spot. Stuff. So now I can choose it. So anyways, that's what I do. So all of these columns are linked to lists that are on a single tab. So I have these 4 green ones for the income statement, these 3 orange ones for the statement of cash flows, and I don't even use these ones for the assets over here. I created them thinking I was going to use them, and I never do. So I just use these other ones. So you can use these categories. You can pick completely different ones, whatever you want. I'm just scrolling in case you want to copy them. But there's a lot here. I don't know. You might find that it's too many for your purposes. Okay, so anyways, that's how I do that. That is the income statement. We covered the income statement. All right, statement of cash flows. Cash went out, and I think we know why. So still got a decent chunk from employment, spent a lot on purchases, but yeah, interest and taxes. So is that big tax piece. That's why this was such a large outflow compared to a big inflow the previous month. But financing, dropped a lot. Yeah, dollar on lending. No borrowing, and $50 donation. Okay, fine. So yeah, cash position definitely dropped, but it's all good. It will be very interesting once I'm debt free to see if a more consistent or maybe a more smooth pattern emerges on the different financial statements. So I'm excited to see that. Probably just buying investments every month instead of paying off liabilities. So we'll see. Okay, so updates. Yeah, relending on Kiva until I reach the 99th percentile. I've been stuck at the 98th percentile for a long time, a lot of months. I don't know, 6, 9, 12 months, a long time. I am in New York for the summer, as I mentioned, and as you can tell by the background. Back pain, my back pain went away, and then it went away for several weeks, and then it just came back like yesterday. So I was playing disc golf yesterday and like torqued it funny. Anyways, I think I'll be okay. No big deal. Have not done any yoga since I've been in New York. I've gone disc golfing while jogging 9 times, which is so fun. It's the best way to do cardio. It's just jogging around the disc golf course. And also yesterday I shot my best ever round, 61. So I think that's tied for my best ever. I got that once or twice last summer, I believe. And I've done some push-ups, sit-ups, and squats occasionally. But otherwise, good stuff with the body, spending a lot of time outdoors, a lot of time in nature. I go for walks. It's awesome. Relationship with others. I've had 4 softball games, 2 doubleheaders. That's really fun. So good to be out there and playing. So good to see the guys. It's awesome. I've golfed 4 times, usually with my dad. 3 times with my dad and once with a couple friends. I am doing occasional friend Zooms, which is nice. Also seeing some friends in person, which is good. Working full time, that keeps me very busy, of course. And I had an appearance on the Corellin Economics Report podcast, which is kind of cool. So another one, different appearance lined up for next month. It's a good experience. Relationship with Self. I got rid of all these books here that I sometimes read and sometimes don't because I haven't touched them in the last month. But I am reading Hijacking Bitcoin by Roger Ver. Slowly. So actually I'm not playing chess at all. I'm just watching other people play chess, which is kind of funny when you think about it, but I enjoy it. And I'm playing Minecraft. So that's what I'm doing a lot of the time. So, okay, how am I thinking, feeling, and doing? Oh, yeah, I'm thinking your thoughts are so important. And something I've been thinking lately is if there's something, if you have like a bucket list, for example, a bunch of things you want to do, just start doing them. Pick one thing and do it. That's what I've been thinking lately. So I have all these things I want to do, and it's like it's so easy to defer them until later. Oh, defer them until I'm back in Florida in my own house, or defer them until after, something happens at work, or until after, the summer's over, or whatever it is. It's just so easy to put things off. And so what I've been thinking about lately is, okay, if there's something you want to do, just start working on it now. So that's one of my big thoughts. Another one is like how central I want work to be in my life. Because sometimes I get into the trap where I'm just like living to work. And like everything I do is around like, oh, how much more time can I spend working? And that seems unwise. Maybe I can elaborate more on that in the future. Anyways, so that's what I'm thinking. How am I feeling? I'm feeling so excited to pay off all my debts. I'm so excited. I'm so close. This is the closest I've ever been in my life, aside from actually being debt-free from age 0 to 17. But yeah, this is the closest I've ever been in my adult life to being debt-free, and I think that it will represent a turning point. So, yeah, just a few months away. Feeling so excited. Also feeling very blessed for all the things I have, and I'm feeling a little, what's the word? It's like, all right, I'll describe it. How am I feeling? It's that feeling when you could have had something else. It's not regret. I'm just like lamenting what other opportunities I could have had. Like those times where I had, $200,000 or $250,000 in assets and Bitcoin. Like, just like, man, I could have escaped financially. I could have paid off all my debt a long time ago with like a positive $200 net worth, like multiple times in the past, 2 or 3 times. Anyways, I don't know what that is. It's like, ooh, that would have been cool, but can't change the past. So anyways, and what am I doing? Well, this is all it. This is everything I'm doing. So yeah, I guess the only other thing I would add is I am trying to make better videos for work. Yeah, trying to make better videos for work. I do spend a lot of time thinking about what would be better for the viewers because, well, I mean, that's the job, right? That's the job, is to think about what people want to watch. So ironically enough, these are extremely low production, but for work, I try to do better. So anyways, that is what I'm doing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope the Excel tutorial was useful. If you have follow-up questions, by all means, ask in the comments section, and I can do my best to address them ongoingly. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next month.